Curse Gaming was formed on August 25, 2011 when the unrestricted esports roster was picked up by Curse.com as their first adventure into esports. The team attended their first event at the 2011 MLG Raleigh, where they took 4th place after losing 3 series to CLG, TSM, and Epic Gamer. In Preseason 2, they took 2nd in an online event, losing to the Chinese team World Elite. Half a month later, they attended their 2nd North American LAN IGN Pro League, taking 5th through 8th, not even making it past the first round against Team Dignitas. Despite things looking rough for the team, they were invited to IEM Season 6 New York, but even there they went 1-2 in groups. Soon, Lapaka, one of the original members, left the team, citing internal conflict as his reason for leaving. Early into Season 2, Don't Mash Me and Doublelift left the team. Curse was still able to put together a roster for the National ESL Premier League, and this time they placed 2nd, just behind former member Doublelift's new team, CLG Prime. Elements joined Curse shortly after being benched by CLG Prime on December 19th. Next for Curse was IEM Kiev and the IEM World Championships Season 6, where they would place a pretty disappointing 5th through 6th at both events. After that, in mid-May, longtime player and theory crafter SYD-TKO would retire from competitive League of Legends, and in the same month, more change would come as a 3-way roster swap occurred between Curse, CLG Prime, and Dignitas. It was crumbs from Curse to Dignitas for being unable to live in Curse's gaming house, Saint from CLG to Curse after being removed from CLG's main squad, and star top laner Voyboy from Dig to CLG. Around this time, fans started to joke that Curse was CLG's bench, seeing as they picked up both Elements and Saint shortly after they were kicked from CLG. On June 8th, Curse picked up Westrice as a top laner, as Pobelter was too young to live in a gaming house. This new Curse would compete in the MLG Spring Championships, only to place 7th through 8th. On August 26th, however, they competed at the MLG Summer Championships, where they would have placed 1st. However, there were 2 notable exceptions. First, TSM and CLG did not attend this event, and second, they were disqualified in the finals after agreeing to an ARAM with Team Dignitas, the runner-up for the final game. At the Season 2 Regionals, Curse would be the only team to take a game from Team Solo Mid, but still dropped 0-2 to CLG, missing out on the Season 2 World Championships being only 1 game away. Curse then held an Extra Life charity stream in the off-season to support the Seattle Children's Hospital, and picked up Voyboy on November 1st. After winning a few minor tournaments with Rux in place of Elements, they decided to use Rux at IPL 5. They took 3rd in their group, placing them in the losers bracket where they would sweep Team Dynamic, and narrowly beat their sister team Curse EU 2-1. This would put them up against the reigning champions TPA, who would sweep them 2-0, knocking them completely out of the tournament. And because Curse placed 4th back at the NA Season 2 Regionals, they had to play their way into the LCS. But they would 2-0 their groups and 2-0 their opponents Azure Gaming, with Voyboy going off on Olaf. Once in the LCS, they were on fire, and did not drop a game until Week 4, where a surging Team Dignitas was able to take them down. However, as the split progressed, they began to crumble. In the last week of LCS, they benched Elements and brought back in Rux for support. While they finished the split in 2nd, they lost to Good Game University and Vulcan, placing the lowest they could in playoffs. Soon after, on the eve of the summer split, Curse would become the first team in North America to import a player from another region, bringing over Gambit Gaming's all-star support Edward. Despite this huge acquisition though, the team struggled a lot in the summer split, fighting to stay middle of the pack. In playoffs, they lost to Dignitas and CLG, which would put them into relegation for the 2014 spring split. In October 2013, the team announced huge changes. Edward was going back to Gambit, and Nijaki was being moved to the challenger team LOLPro. Cop was to be moved to a substitute position and also play on LOLPro, with St. Vicious being a coach for the main team. They announced a lineup that was to include Zekant for support, I Will Dominate for jungle, Afromu for AD, and Pobelter for mid. However, this roster was quickly abandoned, with Liquid 112 regretting announcing a non-final roster. Afromu and Pobelter were both kicked from the team, and Liquid announced that Cop would be returning to play AD as he had a reignited passion for the game, and Quas was picked up for top lane, with Voyboy swapping over to be the team's new mid laner. This Curse team competed in the off-season in the NACL, where they placed 2nd in groups but lost in the semi-final playoffs versus Complexity Gaming. In the spring promotion tournament, they would beat Cognitive 3-1, making their way back into the LCS. Curse was a middle-of-the-pack Season 4 LCS team. They had a couple shaky roster swaps, with Zekint stepping down and St. Vicious stepping into the support role, quickly being replaced by Bunny Fufu. Dragged down by a 0-8 record versus the league leaders Cloud9 and Team Solo Mid, Curse finished with an 11-17 record. Curse managed to beat Dignitas 2-1, but lost 0-2 to both Cloud9 and CLG, finishing in 4th place. During the offseason, Team Solo Mid shocked everyone, benching longtime support veteran X Special, citing attitude differences, and Curse was quick to pick him up, making him the 5th support in 6 months to play for Team Curse. However, despite this pickup, things did not look good for Curse, as they went 2-6, tied for last place in the league. However, led by 2 3-1 Super Week stellar performances, the team managed to climb back up in the rankings. In these Super Weeks, it should be noted that Voyboy and X Special won the MVP awards. These performances had kept Curse fans hopeful going into playoffs, which they were able to live up to by 3-0ing CLG. However, they found themselves up against a Cloud9 who held a 10-0 record in playoffs, and Curse fell victim to that, losing 0-3. The hope was still alive though, as Curse battled LMQ for the 3rd and final world spot. Going up 2-0 on the Chinese import team, Curse felt the pressure as they lost the last 3 games in a row, resulting in a reverse sweep by LMQ, and Curse falling into 4th place again. The preseason 5 saw more changes to Curse, as Cop was once again released from the team and Voyboy stepped down not that long after. Curse was able to import the Season 3 World Champion AD Piglet along with Phoenix to fill in the gaps. New rules, however, prevented Curse from both title sponsoring a team and sponsoring other teams, which they were heavily into with the program Cursed Voice. At this time, it was announced that Liquid 112's team would be merging with and taking the name of powerhouse organization Team Liquid. Liquid had a rough start to the 2015 spring split once again, benching an underperforming Piglet for challenger talent Keith McBree. After some time, they returned Piglet to the starting roster, where things were honestly still pretty shaky. The team just seemed to play better with Keith despite Piglet being the better player. But Liquid decided that Piglet was the better option in the long run for the team, as they narrowly made it into playoffs, defeating Team 8 in a tiebreaker. In playoffs, the team surged, defeating CLG 3-0 and only narrowly losing out to Cloud9 3-2. In the 3rd place game, it would be a repeat of last split, only with 2 different names. Curse, as Team Liquid, playing versus LMQ as Team Impulse. This time, Liquid came out on top 3-2, securing 3rd place in regionals and 50 circuit points towards Worlds. In the summer split, Team Liquid had their best split as a team. They ended 1st place for the first time in LCS history with a record of 14-5. They were on top of the world. However, things are not always as they appear. Shortly after the season, according to Liquid Rebirth, the team's web show, the team fell apart as they started losing a lot of scrims. It seemed they were unable to recover as they lost 3-1 to Team Solo Mid, but had brief respite going 3-1 in another 3rd place rematch against a crippled Team Impulse, Gate Mid instead of Xiao Zhao. So this was it, right? They had finally broken the curse and were a lock for Worlds? Wrong. Riot changed the Worlds qualification system for 2015. Winner of Summer, most circuit points, and winner of a gauntlet-style tournament. In this tournament, Team Liquid had the most circuit points, and thus only had to beat one team to move on to Worlds. The final boss, so to speak. But by miracles, Cloud9 managed to scrape into the gauntlet, and then reverse sweep both Gravity and Team Impulse to challenge Liquid again. This time, Cloud9 did the impossible and beat Liquid 3-1, winning from 7th place all the way to Worlds. With that, another possible Worlds chance was dashed for Team Liquid. In the offseason, Quas and X Special were benched, replaced by Smoothie and Lorlo, NA Challenger talent. It was soon announced that Team Liquid would be attempting a 10-man roster between the main team and the Challenger team, essentially trying to find the best possible combination of players. Early on in the 2016 spring split, I Will Dominate stepped down in favor of Challenger jungler Dardoch, and so far they seem to be favoring sub-support Matt over Smoothie. Only time will tell if Liquid will rise to dominance, as they showed in late 2015, but so far it isn't looking good with huge teams like Energy, Immortals, and the new super team that TSM has created.